Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. For today's video, I am going to be doing another one of my one palette 10 looks video. Now I have done two previous video in this series, so I will link the playlist for you guys up in the eye so you can go ahead and check both of those out. Also let me know what other palettes you want me to add into this series and I would love to do it for you guys. But for today's video, I am going to be using my Morphe X Jaclyn Hill palette. Now when it comes to the eyeshadow palette in itself, I really do enjoy this eyeshadow palette like a lot of you guys out there. This does lean a little bit more on the red neutral side. As you can see, that's like the major chunk of the palette, but you do get these pop of colors, which made this video rather easy because I didn't have to think really hard as to what to do next, how to make a look different, because these pop of colors really helped. The eyeshadow quality again is really good. They're not patchy, they're blendable, they're creamy and soft to work with, which is my number one priority. So yes, if you want to know 10 looks that I created out of this palette, then please keep on watching. Let's start off with something nice and neutral. So I'm going to pick up this beautiful yellow shade on a fluffy blender brush because I want a nice dispersed look going on. I'm going to dust off the excess and I'm going to place this in my crease. Again, I want this to be like blown out, so I'm going to work it outwards. I don't want a lot of concentration of this product. I just want a nice transitional base to be laid down on my eyes right now. I'm going to go into the slightly more defined crease brush and I'm going to pick up this shade right here. It's a brown shade with a little bit of green undertone to it. I'm coating my brush in a 360 manner, dusting off the excess. And again, I'm going to put this in my crease. I'm going to keep this lower than the first initial shade. But with this one, I'm going to build this one up slightly because I wanted to deepen up my crease. Using a mid-size pencil brush, I'm going to pick up this chocolate brown shade and again I'm going to coat my brush with it completely. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this in my outer corners just like that, and I'm going to place it in a slanted motion like so. So I'm just creating like a smoky outer corner. I'm not creating a forewing or anything, even though I'm very tempted, but I'm just putting it in a nice block manner. And then I'm going to go back in with the previous brush and I'm going to blend it in to my crease slightly, just ever so slightly, just to get a smudged effect. I am not taking it inside my crease, but just making sure we don't have any harsh edges. Now at this point you have an important decision to make. Do you want to keep this look matte or do you want to take it the shimmery route? Today I'm going to take the shimmery route because it's been a while since I've done like a shimmery nude eye. So I'm going to pick up this beautiful bronze shade with a synthetic flat brush and I'm going to coat one side completely. Dusting off the excess, I am just going to start stamping it onto my eyelid. This is a beautiful warm bronzy nude eye look and I love how it's turning out. It's very wearable, even though it's very sexy too. So I'm just gonna layer it a couple of times till I get the intensity that I am looking for. I want to add a tiny bit of extra warmth in this look, so I'm going to pick up this beautiful pressed glitter shade and I'm picking it from the other side of the brush. I'm picking it up very gently. I don't want a lot of it. I'm going to be very sparingly putting this on, so just like dabbing it very slightly. This would just give an extra dimension to my eye look without it being too over the top, so I'm just like patting this on. I'm quickly going to balance the lower lash line out, so I'm just applying that darkest brown shade only on the outer corner. I'm not taking it all the way in because I don't want it to shut my eyes down. I want a doe-eyed effect and I'm just going to restrict it till there. And then I'm applying that medium brown all over my lower lash line just to add a little bit of depth to my eyes. Blending everything out with that initial color that we used to get a soft transition back to my skin. To highlight my inner corner up, I'm going to take a very tiny brush and I'm going to pick up this shade right here. It's a very dull golden candlelit glow sort of a shade and I'm just going to place this in my inner corners very lightly. I'm not going for like a blinding highlight in the inner corners, but I just want them to be subtly like glowing a little bit. I'm also going to place this right underneath the highest point of my brow, right here, just to push them up a little bit. Time to mascara up the lashes. Now honestly, this eye look would go with any lip color under the sun. I'm going to take the peachy nude route. I'm using VRs by K Beauty. This is from their Matinee Crayon line. And I'm just going to line and fill in my lips with this because I just want that beautiful warm nude correlation going on all over my face. And this is the final look without and with lashes. I'm starting off with the tiny pencil brush and I'm going to pick up this brown shade right here. It has a little bit of red undertone in there and that's what's going to be perfect for this look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by placing it right in my crease. I'm going to keep it very concentrated. So I'm just stamping it in. I'm going to make sure I have an even layer. So I'm going to go back and forth a little bit by just applying it right there on my crease. Once I reach towards the outer corner, I am going to apply it on my outer corner too, but I'm not going to take it too far away. I'm going to keep it still slightly concentrated over here. To blend this shade out, I'm going to use another pencil brush. This time it's slightly fluffier than the previous one. And I'm going to pick up this shade right here. Again, it's a brown with a little bit of pink and cool undertone in there. So I'm just going to coat my brush completely, dusting off the excess. And I'm going to start working on my crease. I'm going to keep this color very concentrated. I don't want to take it up way towards my brow bone. I'm just trying to keep it in my crease just a little bit higher than it. To make my blend even more seamless, I'm going to pick up a shader brush like this which is slightly fluffy and I'm going to pick up this shade right here. It's a beige shade which again cool undertones, pink undertones in there. I'm going to dust off the excess and again I'm just going to blend those browns out to make sure that there are no harsh edges to it. I'm going to quickly cut my crease up to create a half cut crease for this look. I'm reblending the deepest brown on the outer edge to make everything more seamless once I lay down my base shadow. For my base shadow, I'm picking up this synthetic flat shader brush and I'm going to pick up this dull pink shade. It's a beautiful pink shade. It does have a little bit of beige and brown undertones in there too. Dusting off the excess and I'm just going to stamp it onto my eyelids. To make the transition from my lid space to my outer corner a little bit more seamless, I'm going to pick up this red shade right here again with the help of a flat synthetic brush and I'm just going to stamp it right in between my dark brown shade and my pink shade. Now that that's done, I'm going to intensify my lower lash line up with the darkest brown that we've used. I'm going to apply it only on my outer corners. I'm not going to take it all the way in. So I'm going to take it about halfway in and I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to blend it out with the medium brown that we've used on our crease just to make sure that there are no stark edges going on and we have everything nice and blended out. Now to highlight my inner corners, I'm going to pick up this dull pink shade. Hopefully this works as a nice highlight. If not, we're going to mix in a little bit of those two colors in there. But I'm going to take it up on a tiny brush and I'm going to apply it in my inner corners just to brighten up my eyes a little bit. I think this would work. But for my brow bone highlighter, this is going to be slightly pink. So I'm going to go back into this shade, the beautiful champagne shade that we have. Dusting off the excess, I'm just going to apply a tiny bit just below the highest point under my brow. Going to apply some mascara to my top and to my bottom lashes. Okay, now for my lips, I want something peachy, pinky, nude. So I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. It's one of my favorite shades of all times. You've seen me using this a million times by now. And I'm just going to apply this all over my lips. And this is the final look without and with lashes. I'm going to start off with a rather tiny brush and I'm going to pick up this red shade from right here. It's quite a deep red shade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in my inner and my outer corner. We are going for a halo eye, so you just want to press this down. I'm not swiping my brush. I don't want to get a lot of fallout. However, this palette does not have a lot of fallout, but still, pressing always helps. So I'm just starting tiny and I'm going to build it in. So I'm pressing it down. I don't want to elongate the shape of my eye because this is a halo eye and I want it to be more rounder than elongated. But if you are a person who likes to elongate their eyes, you can go ahead and do that right now. So I'm just going to slowly build up on my crease. So I'm not going to take it all the way through my crease because I have some other color in mind for that. But right now I'm just extending it a little bit more than where I've placed it originally. Taking a slightly bigger pencil brush, I'm going to go into this red shade. This is a warmer red shade than the previous one that we've used. And what I'm going to do with this is that I'm going to start building upon my crease. So I'm going to start blending this out right here. And I'm also going to take it through my crease. I'm not going to go with a very heavy hand. I want to build it up very slowly. So I'm just going in shorter strokes. You can of course just place this first and blend it out later. I'm just going in small circular strokes. Now moving on to a blender crease brush, I'm going to pick up this shade right here, which is a warm brown shade. It does have a little bit of red in there. I'm going to coat my brush with it, dust off the excess. I'm going to start blending the crease out. I am not going to extend it a lot towards my brow bone. I'm trying to keep it contained but still make sure that it's nicely blended out and there are no harsh edges. So make sure you go in short circular strokes. You don't want to take it in a windshield wiper motion because that would just, displace the color a lot. Just keeping it short, circular, going back and forth would help you in containing the color a lot. Now for my lid space area, I might dabble into a couple of different colors, but I'm going to start with this one right here. It's a beautiful rust color. It does have a lot of red in there. I'm going to pick it up on a flat synthetic brush, dusting off the excess. I'm going to start placing this on the centers of my lid and I'm going to start blending it into the red that we've applied on the outer and the inner corner. I'm just pressing it down and you can see it has a beautiful intensity to it. You can wet your brush to make it even more intense or use your fingers. I just have nails, so that's why I use brushes. I'm just going to layer it a couple of times to get it to the desired starkness that I want. Now I do like how this look is looking right now, but I want to add a little bit of jazz, and for that I'm going to go into my favorite color, which is this golden one, and I'm going to pick it up on a small brush. I don't want a lot of it, and again I'm just going to place it just ever so slightly on the centers of my eyes. I just want to add an extra dimension, and this would add a little bit of lightness towards the center, and that's what halo eye is all about. Like, it goes from deep to light to deep again. So I'm just adding it onto the centers, and I'm going to make sure I blend it out nicely so that it's not so visible. For my lower lash line, I'm again going to go in the halo way, but I'm not going to apply the shimmer shade. So I'm going to start off with the deepest red and I'm going to apply it in the inner and the outer corners just to make sure that we have a similar halo effect going on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to apply this red shade, the lighter red shade, in the centers of my lid. You know what? A little bit of shimmer never hurt anyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this golden shade and I'm going to top off the center area with it just very lightly. I don't want it to be too overpowering. Just a very, very light dusting of shimmer just to, again, jazz up the look a little bit. Time to highlight up the eyes. I'm going to use the warmer highlight shade, which is the second one right here, with a tiny, tiny brush. And I'm going to place it in my inner corners as well as on my brow bone, just to push the brows a little bit up. I feel like this is going to be a little too stark against the golds we have going on. So I'm going to mix in a little bit of that gold too, just a tiny bit. And I'm going to layer it on so that it has a little bit of more warmth than it does. Time to mascara up the lashes now. Now, because I want the focus of this look to be on the eyes, I'm going to keep my lips pretty nude. I'm going to start with my Coveted Strip Down Liner by MAC, which I'm almost about to finish up, which is crazy. Come to think of it, I wasn't even a lip liner person before I started using this, and now I'm about to finish it. What? I'm going to fill in as well with this lip liner because I'm going to be going with the topper shade on top of it just to make it a little bit more warmer. It is on the warmer side, but I want it even warmer. I'm going to use Elle from Lime Crime, and literally this combination of Strip Down and Elle is my all-time favorite. It looks so good on the lips. I'm just going to apply it all over on my lips and I'm just going to blend it out slightly with my finger. Like, I'm going to tap on it slightly just so that the colors mix and merge. But this lip look, I love it. And this is the final look without and with lashes. With the help of a not so dense shader brush, I'm going to pick up a color that's nearer to my skin tone, slightly darker, just ever so slightly darker, and I'm going to apply it all over my lid space area just to make a nice base for my eyeshadow. So I'm just patting this in and I'm also going to blend it out in my crease just to get a nice diffused color. And now with the help of a blender brush, I'm going to pick up a shade that's slightly darker to my skin tone and I'm going to work it into my crease just to deepen my crease up a little bit. Also going to take that same deeper brown shade on my lower lash line just to balance the upper and lower eyes out a little bit. Now that we are done with the neutral base, it's now time to hype up this look and make it a little bit more fun. So I'm going to pick up this purple shade with the help of a very tiny synthetic detailer brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating a wing liner on my outer corner. I'm not going to take this liner all the way in. I am just going to create like a four liner first. And I'm going to blend the upper edges into my neutral eyeshadow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to apply it towards my inner corner. I'm just going to carve out my crease line a little bit. And I'm going to diffuse it towards my nose. So I'm not going to diffuse it inside, I'm going to diffuse it outside. This is going to be a fun way to wear color if you don't want to go for a whole block of color look, but you just want like hints of color in your eye look. So we are just going to start diffusing this out. For my inner corner highlight, I'm going to pick up the first shade. This is a very light silvery tone and it's going to go perfectly well with this purple look. And I'm just going to place it in my inner corners very, very gently. I'm not going for a very, very bold highlight. I want it to be very, very subtle. And I'm also going to place it right underneath the highest points of my brows just to push them up a little bit. I'm going to put on some mascara on my top and bottom lashes. Now to keep things fun and fresh, I'm going to go in with this lip gloss from Fay Beauty. Now this is not as pigmented or as glittery as it looks in the tube. I would have actually preferred it that way, but for this look it's perfect because I want the central focus point to be on the eyes. So I am just going to click it a couple of times. I have shaken it while up, so I'm just going to click it a couple of times and then I'm just going to apply this lip gloss all over my lips. I'm missing just a tad bit of color on my lips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Athleisure from Nykaa. This is from their Luxe Matte range. And I'm just going to dab it on my lips very, very gently. I might top it off with a gloss again. But I'm just tapping it just to get a little bit of color. Just a hint of it. And this is the final look without and with lashes. I'm going to start off by taking a nice blending brush. I'm going to pick up this color right here. It's a beautiful transition shade. I feel like this is one of my favorite transition shades ever. I'm going to coat my brush completely with this color, dust off the excess. I'm going to start building this up in my crease. I want this to be like a soft transition color, and because this does have like a green undertone to it, it's going to really complement the look. Once that color is nicely laid on the crease, I'm going to move on to another blender brush. This time it's a much tighter brush and I'm going to pick up this beautiful green shade from right here. I think it's such a gorgeous shade. It's very, very unused from my side, but I feel like it's a very, very beautiful shade. And again, I'm going to place it in my crease, but I'm going to keep it lower to the first color. I'm going to just push this color down first because I want the maximum intensity out of this color. I don't want it to get wishy-washy. With the brown color, I want it to have its distinct greenness going on. So I'm just going to press it into place. Once I have laid the color down, I'm going to go back in with my first brush and I'm going to blend only the edges out. I'm not going to go completely over the green, but just over the edges to get a nice blend but still retain the green. Once my crease colors are laid down, I'm going to build up on my base shadow and I'm going to use this beautiful green color, the counterpart to this moss green color. It's a shimmery formula and I'm just going to pick it up on a synthetic shader brush, a flat shader brush. I'm going to press it on my lids. Now this is very close to what we've used in the crease, so it would be a dream to blend it out. But again, I'm starting off with pressing it so that I get the maximum intensity out of this shadow. Going back in with the matte green shade, I'm just going to build this upon my outer corner just to get a little bit more depth on my outer corner. It's time to now define the lower lash line, so I'm starting with the brown shade first and then I'm just going to apply my matte green shade to just balance my upper and lower eyes out. For my inner corner highlight, I'm going to mix two shades. I'm going to be mixing this shade along with my favorite golden shade just to get a nice and warm highlight going on, and I'm just going to apply it on my inner corners because we have like a full smoky moment going on. Ooh, I have fallout. Because I have a full smoky moment going on, I need something to really like pop out and brighten up my eyes. So I'm just going to apply this nicely in my inner corners and blend it with the green. I'm just going to clean up my fallout in a second. Also going to apply this right under the highest point of my brow. Yes, I am going for a really stark and highlighted inner corner. I think that just looks really good alongside like really dark and intense smoky eyes. But for my brow bone highlight, I'm going to keep it rather subtle. Now I'm applying mascara to my top and bottom lashes. For lips, I feel like I want to do something bold and bold. Of course, if it doesn't work out, we can always change it. But I'm going to start off with MAC's Espresso, which is a beautiful cool toned brown shade. And I'm just going to apply it all over my lips. You know what? I'm into this look. Of course, you can wear any neutral lipstick that you want with this one. But I feel like this is such a different look with this liquid lipstick. And this is the final look without and with lashes. I will start off by using a color that's very, very close to my skin tone on a very fluffy brush. I'm going to pick up this one right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it all over my eye space. This is just going to make a nice base for the remaining colors. And this will also make sure that my eye base is set into place and we don't have any patchiness going on with the colorful eyeshadows. Now that my base is set into place, I'm going to pick up this beautiful blue shade. It's a teal blue shade. I love how vibrant and gorgeous this is. And again, I'm picking it up on a slightly fluffy brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it on my lid space area and then I'm going to blend it into my crease. And we already have that base color downside, so it's not going to be patchy or sticky at all. So I'm just applying it right here and I'm going to make sure that I blend it out nicely so that I have a diffused blue color all over my eye. Once my base shadow is laid and blended out, I'm going to pick up this beautiful shade with the help of a flat shader brush. This is the counterpart, the shimmer counterpart of the teal matte shade. I'm going to dust off the excess and I'm going to apply it on the centers of my lid. I am going for like a sort of halo eye. It's not a proper halo eye because these are complementary colors in different formulations, but we're going to have that shift of color, like shift of shimmer only in the center. So I'm just going to pat it down to get an extreme shimmer from this eyeshadow. I'm going to take that same matte blue shade on my lower lash line too, and I'm going to really smoke it out. I don't want it to be very concentrated or defined. I want it to be quite blown out. Now to add a little bit of extra definition to this look, I'm going to go in with a small detailer brush and I'm going to pick up this shade right here. It's a very, very deep purple color. So it's going to add a nice contrast to the look. It's like a browny purple color. And I'm going to create a four wing. So I'm going to start from the outer corners of my eyes and I'm going to pull this color up. It's almost going to look black against this, but there's going to be this hint of purple, which I really, really like. It's something different. It adds like a uniqueness to this look. You can, of course, go into the black if that's what you prefer. But I'm going in with this color and I'm going to start working on my wing liner. For my inner corner highlight, I'm going to go into the first shade because it's a beautiful sheeny shade. It's not metallic. It just looks like a sheen of color. And I'm going to pop this in my inner corners. I'm going to go for a rather brighter inner corner highlight for this one because this is like a fun pop of color look. And I'm also going to place this right underneath the highest points of my brows. My brow bone highlight is going to be slightly more subtle than my inner corner highlight. Time to level up my lash game with some mascara now. Now, because the eyes are so colorful and fun, I want to keep the lips a little muted. So I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown Crushed Liquid Lipstick in the shade Juicy Date, which is a beautiful color. And I love this demi matte formulation from Bobbi Brown. And I'm just going to apply it all over my lips. And this is the final look without and with lashes. So for this look, I'm going to start pretty basic and neutral on my upper lid space, and I'm going to pick up this color right here, which is a beautiful brown shade. I'm going to pick it up on a round fluffy brush. I'm going to dust off the excess and I'm going to start placing this in my crease. I'm going to work in short circular motions and I'm going to go in towards my inner corner. Taking another fluffy blender brush, I'm going to pick up this brown shade from right here. It's much deeper than the first shade and it will deepen up my crease as much as I want to. So I'm going to pick it up very sparingly just on the tip of my brush. I'm not coating my whole brush with it, dusting off the excess. I'm just going to start working this in my crease with a very, very light hand. I just want to slightly deepen up my crease just to give it a little bit more intensity. I'm not looking for like a crazy smoky eye out here. So I'm going to work rather slowly with this shade. And now for my lid space here, I'm going to pick up a color that's very near to my skin tone. So I'm picking up this one right here. It's a beautiful neutral color. I'm picking it up with the help of a small shader brush and I'm just going to place it all over my eyelid area. And I'm going to make sure I blend it into the crease area too. So I'm not going for a cut creasy look, but I want a nice blended out eye. Now that my upper lid is mostly done, we're going to move on to my lower lash line where most of the drama is going to take place. We're doing a reverse wing liner. I'm going to pick up this beautiful royal blue shade with the help of a synthetic short shader brush. It's a very stiff brush, so it's great for shimmer colors like these. You can of course pick up any other color that you want. You can do it with the purple, with the teal color, with the green, or even with the black if you just want like a neutral reverse liner. But today I'm going to do it with the royal blue color. I'm going to make sure that my brush has a nice amount of it, but still dust off the excess because you don't want that extra fallout on your face. And then I'm going to start working on my lower lash line. I'm first just going to apply it right here just to make sure that I have a nice amount there, and then I'm going to start pulling it outwards. I'm flicking it in a very short motion. I'm not mapping it out like that, like I'm not drawing it out, but I'm making flicking motions. This would give me a nice sharp wing liner rather than just giving me like a blocked out line. So just start pushing it just like that, and you can see I'm getting a nice tip right there. And I'm also going to smudge this on the lower lash line because I do want like a smudged reverse cat eye liner. I'm quickly going to highlight my inner corners as well as my brow bone with my favorite highlight shade, which is this one. I'm picking it up on a pencil brush and I'm just going to apply it right here in my inner corners just to brighten them up, and also right under the highest point of my brow bone. Time for a quick coat of mascara now. For lipstick, I want a brownie peachy nude shade. I know that's very confusing, but a brownie peachy nude shade. I'm using the shade Carnation from Forever 52's Velvet Rose line. It's a beautiful lipstick formulation, and I'm just going to apply it all over my lips. And this is the final look without and with lashes. I'm going to start off by picking up this beautiful burnt red sort of a shade. It has orange and brown undertones in there. And I'm picking it up with the help of a pencil brush, dusting off the excess. I'm going to work this into the crease. We are not going for a cut crease, but I want this red to be more concentrated, and that's why I'm just patting this down before blending it out. To blend my crease out, I'm going to pick up a blender shader brush and I'm going to pick up this color right here, which is a beautiful orange, like a pastel but still like vivid orange. It's a very difficult shade to describe, but I'm picking it up with this brush. I'm going to dust off the excess. I'm going to start just going in short strokes on the top of the eyeshadow, just on the edge of it, to make sure we have a soft transition and no harsh edges. So I'm going with a very light hand. I'm barely touching my eyes. You just want to go very softly on your lid space area. Now taking a flat shader brush, I'm going to pick up this yellow shade from right here. It's like a mustard shade. I'm going to just load up my brush with this one and I'm going to press it against my lid space area. This is going to be a nice pop of color for my lid space area, and I'm going to make sure I blend it up into my crease. Taking a tiny detailer brush, I'm going to pick up this deep red shade from right here. It's almost like a maroon wine shade. And I'm going to make a four-wing liner using this. So I'm going to start on my outer corners. And I'm going to place this right here. And then I'm going to just pull it out like this. For my lower lash line, I'm going to start with the first shade that we applied in our crease. And then I'm going to blend it out with the orange. It's time to now highlight my eyes up, so I'm going to take a tiny pencil brush and I'm going to pick up this shade right here, my favorite highlighting shade, and I'm going to place this in my inner corners, also under the highest point of my brow. Going to apply some mascara on my top and bottom lashes now. For my lipstick, I'm going to go into Icon by Huda Beauty. This is a beautiful warm browny orangey nude shade. My describing words are just the worst, so please don't mind. I am just going to apply this all over my lips. This is going to tie really well with my crease color, and that's why this is the color of choice for today. And this is the final look without and with lashes. Alright, now we're going to do a sexy brown smoky eye. So I'm going to pick up this brown shade right here with the help of a flat shader brush. So I'm just packing this color on, dusting off the excess, and I'm going to start applying this on my lid space area. We are going to be blending this out into the crease, but I just want to make sure that our base is nicely laid down. This is going to be our base shadow for the shimmers that we would be packing on later on. Once we have reached nearer to the crease, I'm going to switch over to a shader brush like this, which is slightly more fluffy, and I'm going to pick up this brown shade from right here, and I'm going to dust off the excess and place this right above this brown and blend it out into the crease. This would ensure we have a softer transition going on. Going in with a fluffy blender brush, I'm going to pick up this shade right here and we're going to be blending out our crease even further. We are going from the darkest to the lightest shade just to create a nice ombre. So I'm just going to go on the edge with a very light hand, and I'm going to go in shorter strokes to blend out everything and get a nice diffused look. Now that we have somewhat of an ombre going on, you can always go in with more blending later on. With smoky eyes, you always get the best idea of the blending at the end of everything once you have everything applied on. So don't worry if your blending is not perfect right now. You can always do more blending at the end of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this brown shade, this shimmery brown shade, with the help of a stiff flat shader brush, a synthetic one, and I'm going to apply it on the centers of my lid. Right here, I want a little bit of shimmer, a hint of shimmer in my look. So I'm just going to pack it on top of the brown that we had placed earlier on. This would just give a nice glitzy look to my eye look. Now this brown shimmery shade is not showing as prominently as I would like it to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in a little bit of this bronze color, a little bit of that, and I'm going to apply it on top of this just to get a little bit of extra dimension to my look. I'm going to focus this towards the center so that we have a nice halo-ish smoky eye. I'm not going for a proper halo eye, but just bringing a little bit of more dimension towards the center of my lid space area. For the lower lash line, we're going to start off at the darkest brown first, and I'm going to take it all the way till the inner corner. I'm not going to leave it like halfway or 1/3 way. We're going to go all the way till the inner corner. And then I've just mixed the other two browns that we used in our crease, and I'm blending the lower lash line out with those. Let's highlight my eyes up, and I'm going to mix this shade and the golden shade just to create my own custom highlight color. And I'm going to place it in my inner corners. And I'm also going to place this right underneath the highest points of my brows just to highlight them up further. It's now time for a little bit of mascara therapy. For my lipstick, I'm going to apply one of my all-time favorite shades. It's Mysterious Mocha by Maybelline. It's in the creamy matte variant, and I'm just going to apply this lipstick all over my lips. I think this would really nicely complement the eye look. And this is the final look without and with lashes. For the last look, we are going to be doing a classic black smoky eye because look at this palette. It is built as a smoky eye lover's dream. So I'm going to pick up this shade right here with the help of a blending brush, and I'm going to coat my brush completely with this color, and we're going to be placing this in our crease. This is going to be my first initial transition with a smoky eye, and especially like a black smoky eye, because the transition can be really difficult. It's important to build upon the layers and build upon the colors a little bit. So I'm first placing this color down and making sure that we have a softer transition going on. Now taking a slightly more defined crease brush, I'm going to pick up this color right here to deepen up my crease and create a little bit more dimension into my crease. So I'm just going to place it again in my crease, but I'm going to keep it lower than my transitional color so that we have a nice depth going on. Now I'm going to take a slightly flatter brush like this, and I'm going to pick up this brown shade from right here, the cornermost brown shade. I'm going to cover my brush with it, and again I'm going to place this in my crease but slightly lower than the previous color again. So we are very gradually building up our crease, building up that transitional shade. And now for our last crease color, I'm going to pick up a pencil brush, and I'm going to take this deep brown shade that's very close to black. This will just ensure that our transition from black to the other browns is very seamless. So again, as I said, this is going to be our crease color. So I'm placing it in the crease, but this time it's much lower than the previous colors. I'm going to make sure I blend it out into the other brown. So I'm first just placing it right there, and then with very short motions, I'm going to blend it out. And after all of that hard work on our crease, it's now time to place our black eyeshadow on our lid space area. I would ideally suggest you to go in with like a cream base or an eyeliner or something before you place the black, just to make sure there is no patchiness in the black. But because this is like a 1 palette 10 look video, I don't use any other pencils or anything. So we're just going to go in with the black with the help of a flat shader brush so we can pick up a nice amount of that color, dust off the excess, and then I'm just going to place it on my lid space area. This is pretty pigmented, and I'm only going to restrict it like right here so that I can blend it in with the brown without it going too above and high. The thing with black smoky eyes is that if you take the black too near your crease and then blend it out, you end up with panda eyes. So you want to restrict it slightly below the crease and then blend it into the browns that we've already placed in our crease. Now I'm going in with the deepest brown shade and the pencil brush we used for it, and I'm going to start blending this black out into the browns. So I'm going in with very small circular motions and making sure that we have a seamless blend going on. Once you're happy with your upper lid situation, we're going to work on the lower lash line, but we're going to go in the reverse order. So the first shade we're going to use is going to be the black shade, and I'm going to apply it on my lower lash line, but I'm going to keep it very close to my lash line. You don't want to blend this down by itself too much because again that would lead in you having panda eyes. So keep it close to the lower lash line and keep it soft. And now with the help of the multiple browns that we've used, I'm going to start blending this out so that we don't have this dark line, but like a nice diffused smokiness going on the lower lash line. And I'm also going to connect it to the upper eye so that we have like a whole connected look. And now to highlight my inner corners up, I'm going to use this shade with the help of a small tiny detailer brush, and I'm just going to place it in my inner corners and make sure I blend it out nicely into the black so that there is no stark difference between the two colors. Also applying a little bit right underneath the highest point of my brow just to highlight my brow bone up. Applying some mascara to further intensify my look up. For lips, I'm going to take the nude route. I'm taking Phase 2 nude lipstick, and I'm just going to be applying it all over my lips. These are buildable mattes, so you can choose the opacity you want them to be at. I'm going to layer them a couple of times to get the full opacity out of them. And this is the final look without and with lashes. And yes, with that we finish another video in my series of 1 palette 10 looks using the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill palette. I really enjoyed making this video and hopefully it was helpful for you guys out there as well. Again, do let me know what other palettes you guys want me to include into this video series, and I would love to do it for you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, take care. I love you all so much. Mwah. Bye.